Every town has a ghost story that's been passed down through the generations. But what if those legends were true? My name is Miranda Young, and I'm the Ghost Biker. Hey, happy Thursday night, everyone. Happy first Thursday in the month of April. Can't believe we're already here. It is so cold here in East Tennessee. It's definitely not riding weather, but I think we're here in the middle of, I guess, maybe dogwood winter here. So yeah, just kind of staying in, and I appreciate everyone that's staying in here with us tonight that tuned into the earlier show, the Jailhouse Informant with myself and my business partner, Dr. Christy Sumner. We had a great show talking about the Appomattox Jail and Clover Hill Village, and we had Mr. Daryl Paulette himself there on the show. So and as well as Dee Dee from the Appomattox Historical Society. So thanks to everyone that tuned in, asked questions, enjoyed the show. And then also thanks to everyone that tuned in last week. We had Ernie and Denise Pack with Pac-Man Paranormal here talking about Fort Duffield, which is located up in West Point, Kentucky. And it was such a fun show talking about what they've been doing with their After Dark program and with historic preservation and restoration for that park, and just how important the paranormal is and those After Dark programs are for some of these different historic locations, bringing in extra revenue and really helping to sort of keep that alive. So just want to say hello to everyone over here in the chat room. We said hello to Daryl there. Hello to Mr. Bob Burnell. Thank you so much for tuning in. Miss Sonia Thompson, thank you. I hope you're doing well down there in North Georgia. Nancy Weems, good evening to you. And of course, hello to Miss Becky Paulette. If anyone has any questions tonight for any of the guests or myself, please put them in the comments over there, and we'll definitely try to get to you. If you would, put them in all caps. That way we make sure as we're going through asking questions, having conversation, and moderating the show, that I don't miss your comments there. Hello to Middletown Paranormal Investigations. Hope you all are doing well. And Miss Lori West. So a little bit of news here. I know a lot of you folks have messaged here. We did have some severe weather. We had a tornado come through the area here on Tuesday. And I just want to say I appreciate everyone that reached out and checked on us and sent your prayers and well wishes. The tornado hit our neighbors just 15 miles to the south of us there in Sunbright. Some very, very dear friends of mine live there, and the town was just devastated. It was a F1 tornado. And so they're in the process of cleaning up after that. But thankfully, there were no injuries, just damages to buildings in the downtown area. So keep those folks as they go in and really sort of kind of get their heads together on what's happened. Keep those folks in your thoughts and prayers, if you will. Also, and like I said, thank you all so much that messaged us. Your friendship and your thoughts is something that is very, very much appreciated. Also, I just want to make sure to mention here, because I got a whole lot going on. Just want to make sure to mention the Blessing of the Bikes event that's going to be taking place at the historic Scott County Jail on Saturday, April 13th. So that's coming up pretty quick. We've been talking about it for about 6 weeks now. And so it's 2 weeks out, and or actually a week and 2 days. And so this is going to be a roll through bike blessing. It's going to take place at the historic Scott County Jail from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern time. You can come through the Christian Motorcyclists Association. They're going to be blessing the bikes there. And it's something a little bit different. It is a roll through bike blessing, so you don't have to show up at a specific time to get your bike blessed. You can show up anywhere between that 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. time slot and roll in. You don't have to cancel your ride or plan your ride around it. We just ask that maybe you consider us as a stop or maybe as a meeting point, and come in, do your bike blessing, go on your ride, or maybe even consider us as a destination. You can come. We're going to have the museum open. You can come take a tour. You can also get some food from Dean's Pit Stop. They're going to be there, and if you've never had their food, it is absolutely amazing. And my particular favorite is the breakfast that they do. So you can come by, get breakfast and a blessing there on April 13th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the historic Scott County Jail. This is our 3rd annual blessing of the bikes. And being a biker, and of course my business partner is a biker as well. And so we absolutely love being able to do things for our biker communities. Come on out, kick off 2024 riding season right with the Blessing of the Bike event. We have that information on, you can look at the event page there under the historic Scott County Jail website, Facebook page, or on the Ghost Biker Exploration events section as well. Another event that I want to make sure to mention, there's going to be a lot more information coming out about this really, really soon. This is actually going to be my first event of the year, kind of starting a little bit later this year with events, but it's going to be on Saturday, May 18th, and I'm going to be part of the Paranormal Places meet and greet. And that's going to be, I believe that's put on by Elite Vixen Paranormal and Reflections of the Paranormal. Those ladies are out of Middle Tennessee as well as Franklin, Kentucky. And the meet and greet is going to be taking place in Franklin, Kentucky, which if you guys have heard of Franklin, then you have definitely heard of Octagon Hall as well as the Old Stone Jail, which is located there. Both of those locations are within just a few minutes of each other there in Franklin, Kentucky. And so this meet and greet is actually really cool because it's all different paranormal places that are going to be there. So I'm going to be there representing the historic Scott County Jail. My business partner, Dr. Christy Sumner with Soul Sisters Paranormal, is going to be there representing our other side of our company, which is Historic Rugby After Dark. And so we're going to be each get some time to talk about that. I know the Old Moore County Jail, Lynchburg Haunted Home, Old South Pittsburgh Hospital, Old Historic Harmon Hospital. I know Ronnie D will be there. Bear with Octagon Hall and Night Stalkers Paranormal. And then, of course, Tennessee Paranormal, who are the ones that does Lynchburg's Haunted Home and I believe the old jail. So they're all going to be there. So it's going to be a fun night. It's going to take place Saturday, May 18th from 3:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. And then I believe after that is going to be an investigation of the Old Stone Jail. And, we actually covered the Old Stone Jail in my season 5 when we were covering all different haunted jails. And so that place is no doubt an extremely active location. So hope you guys will plan to join us there for that really cool event. It is the first annual, and Elite Vixen and Vicki Norris from Reflections of the Paranormal. They're just phenomenal individuals, and they put on great meet and greets. I know they've had several stuff there at the Franklin County, the Old Stone Jail that we've been a part of. And so just really honored to be a part of that. And Melvin, good sir, I hope to see you there at that event as well. It's definitely going to be an epic event. So yeah, extremely excited about that. So going to go ahead and get to tonight's guest. I know we've got a whole lot that we've talked about, a whole lot going on. Last week we were at historic Scott County Jail and we did a live investigation. Actually caught a shadow figure during our live last week. We did highlight it on the show. We're going to be releasing that piece of evidence here tomorrow, and a lot of other cool things that we've got going on. Also, before we get to the guests, just want to make sure to mention we do have flashlight tours as well as lantern tours available all weekend long. We've also got escape room games on the calendar. If you will visit the historic Scott Co. Jail website, you can book your flashlight tour. I think we've got them Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night. at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And then if you go to historyhighwayshaunts.com, that website, you can either go to the jail or Rugby After Dark. And on Rugby After Dark, you can book your lantern tour. So we do have 2 tours available there at Historic Rugby all weekend long. So get on there, book your tickets. Tickets are on sale every day up until 4 p.m. Eastern time. And then we close the tickets off. And that way, we don't allow walk-ups on those tours, that sort of thing, because those tickets do sell out quick every day that we have the tours. So anyways, want to go ahead, get to tonight's guests. I know I've had, you see them from time to time here in the chat room. And of course, I had one member of Bedford Paranormal, Mr. Daryl Paulette, on the show during the 7 o'clock hour with the jailhouse informant. But I'm so fortunate to be able to bring on 2 other members of Bedford Paranormal. I was able to meet them a few years ago. I guess it's been it's been since 2021, I believe, when I was asked to be a part of Enigmacons. Was honored to be able to speak there. And I got to meet Mr. Ronnie Anderson and Miss Angie Damron there at that event. And I consider them such wonderful friends and one of my absolute favorite paranormal teams. So rather than introducing them, I'm going to actually pull them on and let them kind of talk about what they do. If you will, please help me welcome Mr. Ronnie Anderson, Miss Angie Damron from Bedford Paranormal. Hey, guys.
Hey. How's everybody doing?
Hello.
So thank you all so much for coming on tonight. I know I get to I always look forward to talking to you all in the chat room. Usually every week we get to see you guys and talk during the show. It's great to see you on this side of the screen again.
Oh, yeah. It's been over a year. Don't seem like that long, but it's been over a year since I got a chance to do this.
Yeah, I think you were actually my first guest there of 2023, I believe.
Yes, I was.
Yeah, first
and
guest
I was honored.
of the year.
And it was like a last minute thing, so I wasn't really prepared for it, but
who needs preparation? Hey, I think it's great. And yeah. Angie, it's so good to see you.
Yeah, it's great to be here tonight. It's been a long time since I've actually been out on the paranormal field and that sort of thing. So, but I always watch your shows and I look forward to them on Thursdays when I can watch. Pleasure to be here today.
Well, thank you. So, so I want you guys to go ahead and we're just going to start off introducing ourselves, because I know you guys have spent a lot of time in the paranormal, even before, you all got together with Bedford Paranormal. You all have been doing things in the paranormal for quite some time.
Oh, yeah. I guess Bedford Paranormal originated in 2006. Alan May created the group. And shortly after that, I joined the group. And from 2000 whatever to modern day, me and Angie and the girls and all have always done stuff for years. And I'm trying to make a long story short here. We went on a private investigation in Mount Airy one time at a residence that asked us to come down and help. And we went to dinner. At this point in time, it was only me, Alan, and Noah in the group.
Okay.
We've never had a great big old group anyway. It's been 5 or 6 people. But it was just me, Alan, and Noah. And we were sitting at dinner. We were going we were planning stuff with Angie and the girls. And just out of the blue, we said, all these years, why don't we just say, hey, come be a part of Bedford, or rename the group, or whatever you want to do. Let's just be one group. And luckily we got back to town and we asked them and they accepted, and here we are, the way it should have been a long time ago anyway. And then Daryl Paulette, we've done a lot with him. He's the last guy to join the group, make it the final piece of the puzzle here. And we've done stuff with him for years too. So we just decided, we all talked about it and said, hey, come on, Daryl, just jump in with us. So it's 7 of us now, and that's the way we're going to keep it. And we're happy just with 7 of us. No drama, big family.
Yeah.
And we enjoy it. We have fun everywhere we go, no matter what.
Well, I thought when I met you guys, because I think it was the second year that I met you all was when you officially welcomed Angie and everyone into the group there at a ceremony there at St. Albans. And I had no idea. I mean, you all just had such a cohesive feel, great chemistry. That first year, I didn't realize that you all weren't part of the same group.
Well, it shows where the brains are. The brains are with the girls. The guys were just dummies. The light bulb went off one day, and we're the
Oh,
dummies.
goodness.
But yeah, we just have fun everywhere we go. We got a great resume, and like I spoke to you, Miranda, about we I guess we want to start pulling out all of our stuff and maybe sharing it with everybody. I mean, you've had this discussion,
Yes.
and how to do it, but I guess basically when we decided to do that, we got done with Enigmacon last year, and then we're going through this battle with Angie as much as we can, and showing her support, and she's first and foremost before anything else. So we've been quiet all year, but you can see now she's on the mend. So we're going to get back to it.
Well, I love that. And, let's talk just a little bit about Enigmacon, because that was such a great convention that you guys did, and great location, St. Albans. You guys put so much heart and soul, and not to mention time, into making that such a great convention.
Yeah, and that's Angie and Alan. They're the creators and the main staple
Well,
around
it's
the
a
whole
team
thing.
effort, and we make a great team.
I mean,
all of us do.
we can't hear you. You don't pick up nothing in West Virginia.
Is it? You cannot hear me, really?
Oh,
I can hear you.
now.
I think there's a delay. We can hear you. Can you hear us?
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's always a team effort. Yeah. Is this better?
Yes. Quit playing with everything. We know you're not the tech savvy one.
I know I'm terrible. Okay. Yeah, but it's a team effort, and what?
I didn't say nothing. I'm
Can
listening.
you hear me? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, team effort. Bedford Paranormal. We started the conference back in 2017, I believe. Alan and I were talking, and we actually started going there. I know Alan and Ronnie and myself. We went to St. Albans before St. Albans actually became like on the map, I guess. And there were no bathrooms, there were no offices, no Wi-Fi. It was just kind of like a shell, And they had some conferences there that we had went to, in the past. And I thought, well, we can do better. So we got together and, started brainstorming, and, we kept this with the conference, and it's been a great success throughout the years. Every year it just kept building and building, and it takes up so much of our time, though, planning it year to year. We start the day after, the Enigmacons, really, we do. And we take a lot of pride in our speakers and who we get to, speak at our conferences. And I don't think we'll have Enigmacons anymore, but I do foresee us having other events in the future. It probably will be more of an invitation only type scenario, private dinners and that sort of thing. So
I like that.
But
and
I really look forward to it. Yeah. In the future and efforts that we have.
Wonderful. So let me see here. I'm just making sure that I haven't missed any questions or anything like that. That's exciting that you guys have kind of stepped away from that to focus on putting out evidence and really focus on investigating. I know that you guys have really investigated some really cool places over the years. Are there any real memorable investigations that you'd like to share with us?
Go ahead, Angie.
Now you can tell this story. I know what you're going to
Which
tell
one? I mean,
about
what's your
Crescent.
favorite? Huh? Oh, I've told that. Oh,
My
yeah. We
favorite.
just recently,
My favorite.
before Enigmacon, huh? Before Enigmacon last year, we got the opportunity to go to the Crescent. And
Oh.
anybody going to the Crescent, book it for multiple days. It's a huge place. And if you want to have a great investigation and spend some time there, it has to be multiple days. We did it from 3 o'clock in the afternoon till 5 o'clock in the morning. But I was telling the story about 4 o'clock in the morning. We had went to Building 7, the maintenance building that they used as a morgue at one point. And well, before you get there, they tell you don't shut any doors, don't shut any doors behind you, don't go in rooms that doors are shut. So we go up to the maintenance building, we go to the second floor, and Angie and Lisa, they, if you know them, they're all about looking at old history and paperwork and all that. So they see this office. They go through a door. And the rest of us, me, Brenda, and Alan, were a few steps behind them, 10 foot or 12 foot or so. And they walk through, and I see them go around this little counter, and then all of a sudden the door shut. So I know they didn't shut the door. They had time to go in. So we walked up to the door, and Angie's like, unlock the door. We can't unlock the door. You got the lock inside. No, there's no lock in here. There's no door handle. It was a door that you could only open with a key.
Oh, God.
From both sides. So Angie panics. It was kind of funny now, but back then she was panicking, going to jump out a window, but it had bars on it. She was going to go through the attic. She was trying to get out of there. She thought the building was going to catch on fire. Lisa was in there trying to calm her down. So me and Alan started going, hey, it's a maintenance building. Got to have something in it. So we looked all over the building and found a tool, a homemade tool. And without giving away what we did, we got her out. It took about 45 minutes, but we got them out. And she was a complete mess. If Lisa wasn't in there, I don't know what we would have done. But yeah, that's one. The Crescent's a great place. I would like to go back and spend more time there.
Mm-hmm.
Chapel was very active. And then with my advice to anybody that goes out to any of these places that, Waverly or Tala or anywhere like that, St. Albans, stay off the beaten path. I mean, St. Albans, any show you watch, it's suicide bathroom, boiler room, bowling alley. The most active spot in that building is the King Center.
That's what I've heard. Yeah.
And the last few times we've even been there, we don't even go through the whole building. We go to the King Center and spend hours. We had activity one time. I think Angie went, her daughter had a beauty pageant. Is that correct? And we FaceTimed you?
Yes.
Yeah, we were getting a little bit of activity.
Went to the meeting room.
Yeah, she went to the meeting room at the hotel, wherever she was at, and we FaceTimed her. And whatever's in the King Center, we're trying to figure it out. We got an idea, but we don't know, so we're not going to say. But when she was on the phone, every piece of equipment started blasting off. It started interrupting the phone calls. It was just strange. But yeah, and as far as our resume, what do we got? 86 investigations, not counting.
I think it's more. I think it's like
private. But we're talking
I think it's like 89 now.
Wow.
It's like, the Stanley Hotel,
yeah.
the Myrtles Plantation, USS North Carolina, Moundsville. It's just Ohio State. It's just a pretty good resume. And, we're not bragging. We're just saying that we need to get this out and share it. We really hadn't shared anything. And that's because me personally, I don't want to be like these TV shows that get your 15 minutes of fame. Mm-hmm. We do it because it's what we love to do for the research in the field. I really don't care what anybody else thinks, but now the way things are, I think it's nice to start sharing because people are sharing now. but you're going to have those negative people out there to say stuff. That's another thing I'm afraid of too. I'm not afraid of it. I can't
You don't want to deal
stand.
with it.
Yeah, I'm not going to put
Yeah.
something out there that, I mean, it takes a lot to convince me that something's paranormal.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
I'll debunk anything. I get pictures all the time, people sending me orbs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's dust. It's a bug. It's moisture. And then really, I can't look at a picture and tell you that it's a light anomaly unless I was there, or
That's
I
right.
know what's going on in the room while it was being the film or the picture or anything. So, if you don't see an orb with your own eyes, it's not creditable to me. So,
Exactly.
They're rare.
It is.
They're
And
rare.
it's hard, especially because a lot of stuff is personal experience that's hard to show on video.
Mhm.
But I can honestly say now, as a location owner, it helps so much when teams do put out their evidence, because teams will come in. We talk to teams every week whenever they come either to the jail or to rugby, and they'll tell us about some of the cool things that they've captured. And we're like, please send it to us if you don't mind, because one, we like to promote our teams, and we know that there's a lot of folks that follow the page that like to follow them, but it really helps in getting the word out about these locations that really rely on the funds from the investigations just to keep their doors open. So,
Right.
To me, and from what I do, it's not about me, it's about the location itself when I go. So I think that's wonderful whenever teams put stuff out. But I can understand the fear too, because I had the same feeling whenever I started. It's like, I don't want to get criticized or get challenged, even though I'll have a conversation about it. And I think things need to be looked at critically, but in a respectful manner. People don't need to
Right.
go because they weren't in the situation. They don't need to go challenging necessarily people's evidence, which we all know people enjoy doing from time to time, for just to be a,
I can sit and watch what's that show on TV? Paranormal Caught on Camera. I'll sit there and watch that show just for entertainment and debunk just about everything shown. And if I see something that I'm like, I can't explain, I was like, well, that's pretty cool, but still, you don't know.
mm-hmm.
And there's so many camera tricks and so many ways to,
Yeah.
mess up something or fake something. So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, anything we put out there, we'll sit there and say, well, we're going to make sure it's valid, or there's no explanation for it. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
going to just throw a picture. I got a ton of pictures. I
Yeah.
found a picture from the Myrtles. I know what the temperature was that night. It was in the 70s, and I know it was no rain, you had the humidity from Louisiana, but there was no big raindrops or anything, and there was a fountain out back. And I just took a picture of the fountain at night just to be taking a picture.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went back and looked at the picture, there's a huge light anomaly over it. The fountain was dry. There was no water coming out of it. But there's a light anomaly. So I'm just looking at it. I'm like, well, I don't know what it is. But when I zoomed in, I seen a picture, what looks like a lady in black standing on the porch after I zoomed in. I mean, you can see, and if you know the story, I think it was William Winter's wife. Well, William Winter was a lawyer, and there's somebody rode up on the land and asking for a lawyer. And when they called him to the door, the guy shot him and rode off. Well, he made it back in the house and went to the 17th step and died. And that's where his wife got him. And they said she was in mourning for about the rest of her life, and she always wore black and veils and stuff like that. And that's what this picture looks like, a lady with a veil standing on the porch.
Wow.
But, the more I zoom in, the more it gets pixelated. And I'm just not sharing that. But
Yeah.
I used it in a presentation one time, but, it's just something to show. But I'm not going to put a lot of credit. I'll let people give me their opinion on it, but that's about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it always seems like with photos, it's always when you kind of least expected on the photos. That's been some of the best ones that have been, sent to us or that I've captured. And I don't really put out a lot of photo evidence just for that reason, because it is easy to debunk, or a little bit easier to debunk. Most of the time, and when I'm taking photos, it's taking photos of like a room in the daylight, just to get, or in more just to see what the room looks like, so that when I go back and investigate, and you never know what you're going to catch. Some of the most interesting captures I've had has been like what you just said, where you were taking pictures of something else and not necessarily during an investigation.
I think some of the best evidence we had ever gotten was at Old South during the day when we were not investigating, because we were there for 3 days. Wow. And we had an IR light shining down one of the wings, and it wasn't picking up all the way down the hallway, and a camera running on it for the 3 days. So we went back the first night, and said, well, it's not picking up the full hallway. We didn't want to add a light in the claims where the doors open. So we left and went to Walmart the next day and bought reflector tape to put on all the doorknobs, and you could see every doorknob. And you could tell if they opened. And while me and Alan were upstairs doing that, we started walking back towards like the center nurse station or whatever, towards surgery. Mm-hmm. And a man just started whistling, like he was standing in between me and Alan. And it shocked me and Alan. We stopped and looked at each other, and then you could hear it moving up towards the surgery and where the children's part was. I can't remember the name of it. It's been so long. But we followed it all the way back around to the elevator, and it just stopped. And here we are up here trying to get something ready for the nighttime, and all this stuff was happening during the day, and none of us had, neither Alan nor I had a recorder or camera or nothing. But that camera was rolling, and we had another camera that had been set up, and it was rolling, and we finally went through and found the whistling. But it's very faint on the camera. But was nothing on the camera but the whistling and an empty hole.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Just want to make sure to pull up some of the comments here. Again, any questions any of you all have, please feel free to put them here in the comments. I think my cats are running around like crazy behind me. Sorry about that, y'all. Shayla says, I wish I could have gone to Enigmacon, but hope I can get to hear about some of your special events. And if people want to find out about any events, like you said, a lot of those would be invitation, but if people want to find out about events and stuff you guys are doing and want to meet you and such, what's the best way to find that? Do you post that on your Bedford page?
Yeah, the Bedford Facebook page is probably the best way.
I would say follow our Facebook page.
Yeah. We have a website, but it's under construction still.
Yeah, follow the Facebook page.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the Bedford page, or maybe individually on Facebook.
Perfect. Yeah, I've got that. Let's see. Pull that up there. And then let's see. Middletown is talking about, I think they're talking about the Crescent, I believe. Building 7 was a strange place. It killed 2 camera batteries within 5 minutes. Wow, that's pretty crazy with the battery drain. And James Brady has investigated Talus 7 times, and he says that he agrees with you, Ronnie. They investigate for themselves, not to be seen. And Bob says that you can always share your evidence on his group. He's got the group link there, but it is the Real Deal Paranormal Evidence. Thank you, Bob, for allowing folks to share shows like this and evidence and stuff out there. And hello to Brandon Cooper with Shaman Sundays. And New Light Paranormal says our investigations are primarily residential, so we aren't bound to our word that we don't disclose our evidence. Do you guys do a lot of residential anymore, or do you mostly stick with the commercial places?
Well, the last one we did, like I said, was in Mayberry, Mount Airy, and there's becoming a lot of crazy people in the world, and it's a lot of I don't know. We've stepped away. That's my answer. We've kind of stepped away from it unless it's something
Yeah.
that we feel like somebody really needs help with. But there's so many things. I just remember we had a couple call us from Roanoke, Virginia one time and said that they were living out of their car because they had something demonic in their house. So we went up and did an interview with them and then just walked through the house and get some of the claims. Well, once we went up to the attic room, there was a lot of drug
Yeah.
residue and paraphernalia there, and we stepped out right away. You know, it's just,
Becomes a
I don't know,
liability.
it is. It's a big liability. And then we all talked about, maybe screen. I've babysat it. Me and Alan's babysitted a lady on multiple nights, and that's all it was babysitting. Somebody wants attention, and it was taking a lot of our time.
Yeah.
And we want to help people that need help, but we're not babysitters, and we don't want to be responsible for, somebody's drug problem. We'll get you
Mhm.
help or point you in the right direction, but you got to realize it. But yeah, it's too much of a liability now. And when we
Mhm.
came up with an idea to screen people, it was just, I don't know, you can't really ask for medical
Yeah.
records or anything like that. But we've been in houses where you walk up to a DVD tower with every episode of Ghost Hunters.
Yeah.
Then we walk into houses with a Ouija board sitting out. Not that,
Yeah.
I mean, if it's your thing, it's just not my thing.
Mhm.
I don't play with Ouija boards, even though, every other piece of equipment is probably the same thing as a Ouija board that we use. But
Yeah.
there's history behind a Ouija board.
Mhm.
But adding to what
Yeah.
Ronnie said, also, a lot of people, they get really frustrated too if you tell them their house isn't haunted. You would be surprised. They get really upset with you, and about 99% of the time when you go into a house, you can about debunk everything in the house that's almost paranormal
Mhm.
very easily, whether it be the microwave or the toys come on and off on their own. My kids have several toys that do that, and I mean, they get really, really upset too. You tell them that their place isn't haunted.
That's
I mean,
that's a really good point.
we'll explain it to them and tell them what's going on if we know.
Mhm.
I don't know how many privates that we've done since we started, but 85-90% of them were somebody looking for attention.
Mhm.
I've been to a couple that there's some stuff we caught that I can't explain or things that happen. I've had a house shake while I'm sitting in the kids' room
Mhm.
and don't know what made it do it. No earthquakes or anything at that point in time. It was in the middle of the night. Same place I had, and I'm not a big orb person, but we had a camera outside where they said they kept seeing a black figure out there. And we just set a camera up off the porch facing out, and I
Mhm.
seen an orb come through the camera. And when we diagnosed it, that orb moved 40 feet one way and turned and went back 40 feet the other way within 2 frames.
Wow.
That's how fast it was. And I don't
Okay.
think we got a bug that fast. I
Yeah.
don't think water travels like that. But, I mean,
Well, and did you see anything else similar to it? Because a lot of the time, if it is, a bug or if it's dust, eventually you'll see other things that are similar to that.
well, I didn't see it at the time. I was in the
Yeah.
house
Okay.
when two members seen an orange orb come out of a tree and go all the way down to the ground. And it was in the
Okay.
same spot we seen this other one. And there was a house next door to it that was vacant. It was the people who owned the land. I guess it was her father's house, and he passed away. And we just
Mhm.
walked over there. Me and Alan we're sitting in a living room, and you kind of can see down the hall to a bedroom, and we seen a shadow walk from one room to the other.
Wow.
But like I said, it's very rare. And the last one
Yeah.
we did in Mount Airy, this lady swore she had something going on and it was threatening her and all of these claims. And we spent I mean, we went there early during the day and spent till the next morning and got
Wow.
absolutely nothing. Not that it's
Yeah.
not haunted. It
Yeah.
just might not have showed itself while we were there.
Mhm.
But we were like, this is what we got right away when we analyzed everything and said we didn't get anything. And she wanted to be argumentative and call BS. And I mean, if it's haunted or not, if it's active
Mhm.
or not, it don't always show itself. It's not just because I'm asking you to say something doesn't mean it's going to say something. I'm sitting there
Yeah.
interrogating something that might not want to talk to me.
Yeah. Well, and two, I mean, what a lot of people don't realize, I mean, yeah, it seems fun and interesting whenever, you're going to go into someone's house. You've got this location that you're going to go in. You can really get to flex your creative muscle on a residential house. But to me, if it is somewhere that's active or truly haunted, you've become those people's lifeline. And it's not a one and done type situation. It's a case essentially. And so that's a lot of responsibility. And I've had in the past, I used to do, I'm like you, I don't being a solo investigator, the only time I take on a residential is if I know the people, or if I've got somebody to go with me, or if it's a certain type situation and I don't highlight it on my show. It's definitely a private thing. And I've always found that it's in the past when that was the situation, it would be like a year-long thing, 2-year-long thing, and
Oh,
you'd be continually going back to try to figure out. So there's a lot to it.
it is.
And it looks like there's people over here in the comments making some really good points about privates and stuff that they've done. And I've heard some pretty bad horror stories about private investigations.
Yeah, just the way the world is becoming now. Like I said, if somebody's out there that actually needs help, that's fine, but it's a big liability.
Okay, that was really weird. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. You disappeared.
That was really weird. The whole thing just went blank. Sorry,
Yeah,
please,
yeah.
as you were saying.
Didn't mind too.
I was just saying, we just the way the world is now, we just stay away from it. The liability of being involved with somebody that you never know what you're walking into.
Yeah.
I mean, now we put so much pride and time into our investigations because a lot of times we don't. I mean, we foot the bill for every investigation we go to. Is now we'd probably want to start networking because everywhere you go is so expensive. But
Yeah.
there's these certain teams that we will network with. Not
Mhm.
everybody. I mean, years ago, I think Moundsville at one point, Alan went. I didn't go, but Alan said he went with the team, and all they wanted to do is run around and jump out of corners and jump behind doors, and that's not what we're about. That's not what we do.
Wow.
Everything's not active, and nothing's a demon.
Yeah, I was at
Very,
Moundsville one time.
rare. Huh?
Yeah,
Do
I
what?
was down in the Sugar Shack. I was down in the Sugar Shack and at Moundsville.
Mhm.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so down in the Sugar Shack, we were investigating down there, and up above us, that's where the entrance is to the prison, and
Mhm.
Mhm.
I was hearing a lot of noise, like someone was walking around up there, and I was like, "Gosh, that's really loud to be like paranormal," it was repetitive, it just kept happening and happening, and so I decided to go investigate that, and I actually kind of like peeped around the door to go back up. You go back upstairs to see into the cashier's office there, and they
Mhm.
were actually doing it themselves. They were like hitting brooms on the floors to make you think that the place was paranormal. So, and that just totally kills your vibe for the whole night because you don't know what not to believe.
Yeah. And I mean, places like that, it's like, why do you have to do that when, as seasoned
You don't have to.
investigators,
Right.
no, we know that. I mean, yeah, it's great when a picture is ripped off the wall or a door slams or knocking on the floor. That's great, but that's not the norm. And so, as investigators, we know a lot of the time it's about the subtle things. Oh, that's
Yeah.
unfortunate.
I think we do know what is and what's
Yeah.
not,
And I tell
because
you,
a real paranormal investigator,
mhm,
not a ghost hunter, but a paranormal investigator, is going to do everything they could do to debunk it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Everything is not paranormal. It's like, I
No.
think I was telling you about hospital on College Hill.
Mm-hmm.
What was it, Destination Fear, that went there and they did solos through the building? And Dakota went in the building and he heard the EKG machine. I know
Okay.
exactly what that was. Remember that night we were in there and we kept hearing the wheels squeak on the train? That's all that
Oh.
was.
yeah.
It was no medical equipment. There was just a couple pieces upstairs, and that's where the noise came from. But
Yeah.
all through that building all night, when the trains come in, you could hear the wheels squeaking, and I know that's what it was.
Do you think they knew that and thought, oh, well, this sounds similar? I mean, I know that's speculation, but
Well, I wasn't there, so
yeah.
what he heard and what I heard. I mean, Amy Bruni told me one time. She said, "What you see on TV and the EVPs you hear on TV that we show the public,
Mm-hmm.
even if you think it don't say anything, they're more clear in person than they are when they go through
Yeah.
production TV." And so basically, I'm just giving my opinion on
Yeah.
what he heard, because I've been there and I heard it all night
Mm-hmm.
long, every hour,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm debunking. That's all I'm doing. What he heard, I don't
Yeah.
know. I wasn't there, but if I
Yeah.
had to guess, that's what it was.
Well, and that's where the mark of a good investigator, because I mean, don't they say that if it's a clear day and the circumstances have to be just right, but you can hear a train from almost 30 miles away if the
Oh yeah,
weather is just right, and that's why so many atmospheric things play into these investigations, and just knowing about your surroundings and accounting for things.
yeah.
I mean, you know that's something to note on. And that's what we tell at the jail whenever people hear voices, is we tell them, we have a working 911 center across the street. Now it's quiet, it's not like police are rushing up or anything like that, but every now and then the ladies from the building will go out to smoke, and they're usually quiet, but you never know if somebody's out there having a conversation. So we always tell people, if you hear voices, look outside just to make sure that there is nobody outside, even though it is quiet, just to try to account for things.
Yeah, but you have those people that want to think everything is activity or haunted or a ghost or a spirit. Let me tell you, investigating, excuse me, paranormal investigating or ghost hunting is very, very boring.
Yeah.
It's got to be something you really like to do, and you're really in it for a reason.
Yeah.
It can be so boring, but I mean, you got to have it in your blood to do it too. I just don't think just because you see something on TV you want to run out and do it. It's just, I don't know.
Well, why do each of you do the paranormal? Why is it that it's something you're so passionate about?
Angie?
Let me go first.
Yeah.
Actually, the paranormal field, I didn't actually have an experience per se that got me into investigating. I actually was more into the history side of it. Like, I would like to go to these buildings to learn about their history and about, things that happened, prior to being open and everything, or prior to being closed. And while I was doing that, I actually had my first experience. And that's what got me into the paranormal field to, investigate further and try to debunk things. And I've been doing it since about 2008 now.
Okay.
So pretty good long time. But I will say there's a lot out there that, that is not paranormal. But if you have an experience, count yourself very fortunate, because it doesn't happen it doesn't happen every day or every night. It can happen. It very rarely happens, if at all.
Very good point. Very good point.
My story is I never believed in any of it, and I've had experiences as I was a child, when I was a child, and either I didn't want to scare myself or I just blew it off.
Mhm.
But I had moved in a house here locally, and things started happening in the house. I mean, lights would come on, and I could see the switch flip on and off. And then people that came over were seeing dogs in the house, hearing voices, and when they were telling me that, and finally I had a bike wreck and I had some surgery, so I went to a therapist, and she happened to live 2 houses down from me and told me the whole history of the house. And a lady and her dog were found dead in the house. So
Wow.
everything that everybody that came to my house and seen was a lady or a dog. So that's when I worked with Alan at the time, and somebody told me he was the founder of Bedford Paranormal. So I went and asked him. He invited me to a meeting. I think it was a month or two after that. I was sitting in the mess hall of the USS North Carolina, and I fell in love. So that's how I got into it.
I have not got to do that one yet, but I know Christy has done that one, and she absolutely just talks about how amazing that one was, and just the history in and of itself in that place.
I don't know how they're doing it now, but back when we went, the night guy, his name was Danny. He was pretty famous because he was on all the shows. He was like the Copperhead at Tallow.
Okay.
And we had full access of the whole ship, everywhere except for the first deck, because it was halfway underwater.
Okay.
But we wanted to go back, and we checked into it, and they said that they were just doing like the tours, and you could investigate the tour areas. But I think Middletown and Culpeper just went, and they said they had full access to the ship again. So if you do it, that's the way to do it. We went down to the maintenance room, and they still had paperwork there from 1940, 1941, all the log records from changing light bulbs to anything they did. And it was all original. And I don't know if it's there now, but yeah, we had full access, and be ready to, if you go walking through those holes, good Lord, it's step over, walk. And then the most freaked out I was probably going from deck to deck on the little stairs they have.
Yes.
No matter what, everybody that was with us said that they felt like somebody was, if you were last in line coming up the stairs, somebody was walking behind you.
Oh, wow.
And we got some great evidence there too.
That's really cool. Yeah, Middletown says that they had full access, even the area. Yeah, I think she had to pay extra for it, but I believe they had got the torpedo room, and she, it's funny you were talking about the narrow spaces and stepping through the holes and stuff. She actually got a really cool EVP as they were going through. It was just her and her twin sister, so there was no men on board. There was a man said, "Watch your arm." And it was, really cool. Just the activity that they got.
Well, we had a member in the group. He was ex-military.
Have you been to
Huh?
No, go on.
He was ex-military.
So I was going to ask her if she had been to Lizzie Borden bed and breakfast.
I have. And that was a really cool place. I did that one as an investigation with Soul Sisters, and I think they had 5 of them and then myself, and it was cool. Now, of course, it's under new ownership now, but it was, I forget the lady's name. She's since passed away. I think American Ghost Adventures has it now, so they do things a little bit different. But we had the entire house, and that was a really cool location. When we were on the upper level, we were getting things from not just from the Lizzie Borden family, but from houses down the street. There was, I think, a lady who had, I think she had drowned her kids in a well, and
Yeah.
we were getting activity from that in that
Mhm.
upper, lots of kids activity up there.
We're planning. We're excited about July 12th.
I'm excited about July 12th.
We've been waiting all year for that. But I still have to book rugby. I keep forgetting about it. I work out of town, so I'm driving an hour and a half both ways every day, and I'm brain dead when I get home.
I understand. No, it's I can't wait for you guys to come and investigate there because, you know, I love when the teams come in. That's probably my favorite part, is when the different teams come in and you get to experience so many different ways of investigating, because, you know, we give a tour and of course we tell some of the things that we've experienced there if people want to know, or things, you know, like there's one level on the second floor where we say, hey, you know, investigate however you like, but we found they're kind of standoffish here and they like it when you do these certain things. We'll make suggestions, but I love seeing the energy that different teams bring in and the techniques. And so I can't wait to see what you guys get there at the jail. And then rugby is just different, you know, because you get the whole village there, and the activity with these British colonists and stuff. It's just a really cool place, and it's totally different than the jail. So I can't wait for you guys to come.
Yeah, we did Henricus, was it year before last?
Oh.
And it was, well, basically it was too many people there. That I think that was an issue, but it seemed like some of the groups were getting a lot of good stuff in a couple locations there.
Mhm.
But I would like to go back there at some point, but I'm looking forward to rugby. I just need to book it before somebody steals it out from
Yeah.
under me. If
Well, I know
they do, we'll have to come back.
that's right. Well, I know Middletown Paranormal, they're saying they're going to be at the jail on the 13th. You guys are going to be at the jail on the 12th. And then I think you were looking at the 13th for rugby, right? If you're able
Yes.
to. Yeah. So rugby is only 20 miles from the from the jail. So that's the good thing about it, is it's all just very, very close. Only takes about 20
Yeah,
minutes to drive
we were
over.
going to try to do the trifecta and put Brushy in there, but I don't know what happened or who was in charge of that.
I'm still working on that.
I know you got 143 million things to do.
We'll get there.
Well, if you don't get to Brushy,
Just a few, not a lot.
Historic Harmon Hospital is, of course, that's owned by Ronnie D as
Ronnie
well,
D.
and it's about the same distance, because it's kind of a triangle right there. Now with rugby, it's more of a square, but you've got rugby in the jail that's real close up there together, and then 40 minutes down, you can either be at either a little bit 40 miles to the east, you can be there at Brushy, or go just a little bit 40 miles directly south and you can be there at Old Historic Harriman. Very close.
Yeah. Brushy's always been on our bucket list, I believe.
Possibly a backup if Brushy falls through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hey, there you go. Whoever's in charge in the group of Brushy Mountain can check on that. Who's in charge of that, by the way?
Oh my goodness. I usually plan all of our investigations. I'm the planner of the group.
Yes.
That's a tough job.
I know.
Well, the thing with Bedford Paranormal,
tough job. It really is.
the thing with Bedford Paranormal is we're called Bedford Paranormal because that's where Alan lived and he originated the group in Bedford. But we actually live in Lynchburg, which is 30 miles out of Bedford. And we got Daryl, he's in Appomattox, which is another 30 miles, 29 miles or whatever. Then we got the girls who are strode all over the place. They're in Kentucky, West Virginia, Ohio. But yeah, we might be that far away, but we talk every day, except for
Love it.
Lisa. So Lisa's kind of like cut the chat off, so she don't have to listen to it going off 500 times a day. But we talk every day. And Angie is the planner. She'll get in the chat and say, hey, we're going so and so at this time. Hope everybody can go. She plans it and books it, and we go.
I love
Yeah,
that
after Ronnie took up, we don't let him plan anymore.
Huh? I'm in charge of the food. Ask Alan.
Yeah.
another very important job.
Are you sure? Because I do.
Well, when y'all cook, it's different. We went to Harper's Ferry last Christmas before last, and all the girls cooked us a big dinner.
Oh,
Nice.
that is nice.
Yeah. Have you been to Harper's Ferry,
And they
Miranda?
all can cook.
I've not. No. Is that a really active?
I would highly recommend you go there.
Okay.
We loved it.
Now,
Yeah.
how far is that? Because that's not too far from you guys, is it?
I think
Well,
it's,
you all are all
3.
over, so
No, it's
Yeah.
well, I mean,
if I'm not mistaken, it was 3 hours from us, maybe
okay.
3 hours from us.
yeah, that was actually closer to Harper's Ferry than what I was. And I mean, listen,
Yeah.
It
I
was
didn't
4
know
hours from
when
me.
we went to Gettysburg, and it wasn't but 3
But-
hours from us. I couldn't believe that. But yeah,
No.
Yeah,
we'll meet up somewhere
the
and just go.
Harper's
or
Ferry
whatever.
has the Carrot Top and breakfast,
Okay.
and it's a really nice place to stay there. And to go downtown, you can walk through the cemeteries there from that bed and breakfast, and experience all that. And the church,
Mhm.
what was the church called, Ronnie? Do you remember?
The old cathedral that was coming down.
Yes.
You talking about
Yes.
the ruins? Yeah,
And it's
it's an old
Okay.
Catholic church,
Yeah.
I believe. It's ruins now, but
and
the
we
whole
actually like to
town-
investigate.
I'm making
Oh.
notes because I'm always
whole-
looking for great places.
yeah, the whole town is pretty awesome, rich with history.
Yeah.
I mean, the story of John Brown, they actually got a John Brown museum, and we got lucky enough that we got to investigate the John Brown Museum,
Oh wow.
which was kind of quiet up until they have these displays with windows that you push the button, and an automated scene about the history there and
Yeah.
John Brown.
Uh-huh.
And it's a maze to go through. But I went down one night, went down the stairs and followed it down. And as I walked by, I didn't touch anything, but this
Mhm.
display just went off, and everything started happening, which was gunfire and horses and horns and everything. And
Wow.
it startled me. And I turned around. I was like, how does this thing work? And you go over and you read the thing that says push the button. Well, after it stopped, I pushed the button, and the button didn't work. It wouldn't do it again. Would never do it again. I don't care how many times I touched that button. But it was interesting. The history and the story was very interesting. And the town is just, it's like time is forgotten. It still looks just like it.
Oh. That's the cool thing
it's
about
amazing.
rugby.
Even if you just go for the history, it's great.
Yeah.
Oh. And
And you
that's my favorite part on these is going to the real historical places.
Mhm.
Next time you come back to Clover Hill, we'll come down there with you.
Yes, please. I was talking to Daryl earlier, saying that I'm going to try to get back up there this year. So, and he had mentioned having you guys come over. I would love that because I enjoyed Clover Hill, and being up there. I came up the night before, and then so I had kind of the day, but I just didn't really get to spend as much time as I wanted to. I was so late getting back the next day because I tried to stretch out my day up there as long as I could there at the park. But I definitely want to come back and do some more investigating in that area.
You also, I can't imagine why I would tell you this, but there's another location in Bedford. It's called the Avenel Plantation House.
Okay. Yeah. I think I've
You
heard
need
you.
to,
Yeah.
yeah, you need to check that out too. That's a nice place, and it's fairly active. And
Okay.
but I don't know why I'm promoting them. They did us dirty. We
Oh,
we we used to do a thing called Halloween Horror Nights, and it was so successful the first couple of years we did it that they had to make it 2 nights because we had like
wow.
400 people come through. You remember that, Angie? Do you remember that?
I
You're not
do.
listening. Yeah, we had like
Hmm.
400 people come through there, and it was just like a meet and greet with different teams from all over.
Hmm.
And so Taffany May was the lady there at the time. But every year we would do a raffle. We would raffle off
Wow.
4 people to come do a private investigation there.
Hmm.
So the last year we did it, we got a phone call saying, I forgot to tell you, do you want to reschedule? And to contact 4 people from all over the state to say, hey, we got this date open, and they scheduled to do it. And they call us a week before, say, hey, you want to reschedule because they got a board meeting that night, or either you can come in an hour later. So we said, well, we're not going to try to call these 4 people and get them in here
Yeah.
on another date. So we'll just come in an hour later. When we arrived, we kept our distance. We stayed away. And the time they were supposed to be out, we started kind of like pulling gear in, but we didn't go in. And this gentleman came out on the porch and he said, he goes, y'all can come. We're done in the parlor. He goes, if y'all want to, because it was cold too. It was in January. He said, you can put your gear in the parlor, and then everybody's on the way out. Well, me and Alan were like pulling cases in. This lady stopped, and you could tell she was inebriated. She had a glass of
Mm.
wine in her hand. Her husband was there, and she stopped and looked me up and down and basically said, who are you? And we had our patrons there too, the ones that paid for the
Yeah.
raffle to get this investigation. They're standing there the whole time. She goes, who are you? What are you doing here? We told them nicely, we're Bedford Paranormal. We had our raffle winners tonight investigating. And she goes, this is no place for that bullshit. And she turned around and went back in the kitchen, and there was a big commotion in the kitchen, arguing, screaming, and people just
Wow.
started leaving. So we're standing there feeling like idiots because we have our patrons standing here that paid for tickets for this, made this place. Any event that we've ever done, we never put money in our pockets.
Yeah.
Every dime of it goes to that location.
Yeah.
So you take $10 a head with 400 people, do the math. They got every dime of it.
Hmm.
So we were doing a favor and then taking our time to take these people and let them have a full night investigation, use all our gear, show them how to
Hmm.
set it up. They didn't have to tear it down, which they never did. But
Yeah.
this lady's cursing us out standing there. So we stepped away from the Avenel, and just about every
Hmm.
year they call me. Last year, the lady that took it over, Taffany May, that'd been there for years, actually quit the next day. She resigned due to it. And anyway, they contact us every year asking, do we want to do it again? And
Hmm.
we say no, and we do it respectfully. But
Yeah.
last year, I met with the new people that ran it, and I basically met them at a coffee shop here in Lynchburg and sat down and told them what happened. And they
Hmm.
said, who was the lady? I said, I didn't really ask her for her name. They pulled up the picture of the board members, and I said, that girl and that guy. And she said, I know exactly who they are. And I believe
Wow.
every word you're saying. I said, well, I don't have any reason to lie. But anyway,
Yeah.
that is a great location for you to do maybe a live or something at. It's
Uh-huh.
really, or one of your episodes, because it is an
Hmm.
active place. And
Well, and that's what I'm trying to decide if I'm gonna how I'm gonna do my season this year. If I'm gonna do it like I did the live, because to me, I really enjoyed that because we had so many people interacting, and it doesn't matter if something happens or not. It really helps to get the name out about the location, and we had some really weird stuff at every location happen during the live, and I'm still in the process of putting those together as produced episodes. But, you know, after the time that it takes to produce a full episode and so few views that the produced episodes get, but then you look at the lives, and by my last live, I had over 300 people interacting on it and over 25,000 views the next day. I don't even get close to that, you know, on the produced episodes. And those take me a long time to put together. The research, the investigation, going through everything. I really enjoyed those lives. So I think I'm going to do kind of a mixture of produced and lives, trying to do it throughout the year if I can get on it. But that may be a cool way to do it, because I was really blown away by just how, and honestly, how I was surprised, because, you know, service can be bad or whatever. And, you know, when you're doing a produced episode, people don't see everything that goes into the investigation. If you're an investigator, you know, you got to charge stuff, you lose service, you have things that don't go quite right. And I was really amazed at just how forgiving the people were who watched. That it's like, if our service dropped, I think it dropped for like 2 or 3 minutes, one episode, and there was still like 150 people on when I came back. And I was like, wow, I can't believe people stayed, you know? So it was a cool experience. It was stressful, but it was cool doing the lives.
Yeah, we want to get some of our stuff out there for people, not on a platform like you do, but we don't want it to be boring either. You know, what's in the red circle kind of thing. So, you know, we like to do something pretty cool with it.
I can't wait to see what you guys put out, because I know I've heard some of the stories. You and I have talked there at Enigmacon, and just other times hearing about some of the evidence you guys have caught. And just as professional as you all are, and as much as you kind of, you know, hawk over your evidence to call out, you know, the stuff that is unexplainable. And I can't wait to see what you guys put out. And if there's anything ever that I can do to help in that, I would be more than happy to help.
I've already came to you with questions. You know that.
Just come on back. Let's see. Just looking real quickly over the comments here. Shepherdstown is another one that I definitely want to hit up. I know James Brady's going to Clover Hill Village here very soon. I can't wait to see what James gets. And I need to remind me, James, I need to get with you. My sound on my music box is not really working too good, so I'm going to get with you on that. Thank you, Nancy, for your kind words there. And James, I really appreciate that. And I agree with James on this. I got to ban those red circles.
Yeah, I see nothing but red ink or a red circle. Hey, I'm building 3 music boxes myself. I've never really done it, but I figured out how they work, and I went and bought all the stuff a couple weeks ago, and I'm waiting for parts to come in from China because they're cheap. So I'm starting to build my own music boxes. I hope they work.
You know, I got to say, I think some of the best things that's come out of the paranormal. Oh, go ahead, Angie.
I was going to tell you, I bought a music box.
I know you did.
I thought you guys knew that. I didn't know you were building them.
Hey, I got all your equipment here. You know that, right?
I know.
I got your box here.
Oh,
it's safe.
Okay. We're family, so.
I know.
You know, I think it's cool with the paranormal, because to see so many, I mean, minus the crazy demon possessed YouTubers, I think some of the coolest things that's come out of the paranormal are the new equipment builders, people who are coming out there building cool equipment with these great ideas, and people who are documenting this history and documenting their content. I just think that that's some of the best stuff that's come out of this from a sociological point of view. You know, people trying these new things, stepping in and doing podcasts. People may not typically be podcasters, and creating these spaces where people can get together and talk about their findings. I just love all this cool stuff that's come out of the paranormal, minus, the evidence and stuff, but just what people as a whole are doing. I love seeing that.
I'll tell you what's happened here in Lynchburg. Ghost Stop.
Yeah.
They've moved all their operations to Lynchburg. Don't know why, but they have a headquarters down here, and they've contacted me and Alan. We've been to a couple meetings about putting together, to getting so many residential calls, and going back to the residential stuff, that they can't handle it with their little small team there. So they're trying to put together a team to take over some of the residentials. So we've been to the meetings, and we're supposed to have one Saturday. Well, it's supposed to be Friday night, but they changed it till Saturday. So me and Alan said we can't make it Saturday. We had other plans. So, but they moved a big headquarters here, and they're going to have a lot of stuff. And I can't afford their equipment though, but as far as like their viewing rooms and everything they have there with high tech, viewing and listening and going over your evidence, it's pretty cool.
Wow, I didn't realize it. So can just anybody in the public that's a ghost hunter or investigator or researcher go in there and utilize it?
That I don't know yet. I don't think so, because I think Sean Porter owns it, and I think he's trying to sell his equipment. That's the reason I wanted to make my own music boxes, because I seen the prices on music boxes. I was like, holy crap! You can spend a small fortune in this field for sure.
Anything. I mean, I remember when K2 meters used to be like $19, and then put Ghost in front of it, and all of a sudden, I think a simple K2 is now up to $65 or $85.
Yeah, just a simple little K2 that started off 20 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, we sell them at the jail. We sell them for $35, and it's a lot cheaper than what they have them at Ghost Stop.
Yeah, I mean, they're great people. I mean, I like Sean; he's pretty cool. But we want to see what it's all about, and we asked right away, is it going to interfere with Bedford Paranormal? Then we didn't want any part of it, because that's our primary, and so he said it would have nothing to do with that. He's not building a team like that. He's just somebody to help him, and he wanted, the right people in the right places.
Gotcha. And Nancy, YouTube has, that's a whole other topic right there. But I totally agree with you there. And James says the music box is easy to build, Ronnie. I love my music box that James built for me. And I had a lot of success with it at different locations this past season. I got it out the other day. Of course, I hadn't investigated since, I guess it's been the first part of the year. So it's been a couple months, and I had to change the batteries for the first time, and I changed the battery, and for some reason, I don't know if something's got switched or something, but it comes on, but it doesn't play music. So there's probably a switch or something on it. But I love my box. I think the good thing about equipment
is, about equipment is, I think when we're on investigations and you have your music box or, your Ovilus or whatever you're using, I don't think that the music box or anything for that reason itself will say there's something paranormal there. But when you have different pieces of equipment simultaneously doing things at the same time, then you're kind of like, maybe there's something to this. You know what I mean? And that's when you really start getting your evidence with the equipment, I think.
What is your favorite equipment, Angie?
I really like the 360. I think it's a Periscope 360.
Oh, yeah. Do you have a lot of luck with yours?
A lot. And I like my new camera. we've, it's something about the 360 is that it's not sensitive. I mean, it takes a lot to
Right.
make it go off. And usually when it does, I get really excited because, if that thing goes off, there's probably something there because it doesn't go off very often.
See, that's mine. I have never had a lot of luck with my 360 except for at places that have children. And the only places it's ever gone off has been at the Lizzie Borden house. I had it go off at St. Albans. And I wasn't where you would think the typical place where, they talk about kids and stuff there at St. Albans. This was actually just down in an obscure room in the solitary area. And then I'm trying to think at rugby in the schoolhouse. And I started noticing the only time, well, and actually Brushy, I had it go off at, it was really weird. We took a porn magazine and was showing it to the inmates and we were getting it to go off. That was the first time it ever went off, was with a porn magazine at Brushy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the millimeter too when it coincides with other equipment. That can be really interesting as well. When we were wrestling, we were in the church there, and we weren't getting any hits there until Ronnie started playing the piano in the church. And then the mill went like crazy.
Okay. Well, y'all need to bring.
It was something to see. It was really interesting.
That reminds me, when you come to the jail, you need to bring, if you sing, if you play instruments, bring those to the jail because they react and interact more when people play music. And I mean, you can play music on a phone or on a radio, and that's great. But when people sing and play music, they love it.
I've actually played guitar in the Sugar Shack at Moundsville.
Oh, wow.
And,
did you get anything?
I don't recall. It's been a while, and I don't know about that trip. We've been there a couple times. I think we might have got some EVPs down there, but not on my recorder. They were on somebody else's. But I played piano at the Crescent somewhat. But yeah, Alan's always trying to get, because Noah, he's a musician too. And Alan's always trying to get us to lug guitars and all. And I'm like, okay. But when I play, I kind of got to hear the vocals.
Yeah.
I'm a sad rhythm guy that needs either a beat or vocals or something. So I keep timing because I'm horrible. And back when we did it before, Scott Dedamore was in the group, and he's the lead singer of the band, and he plays guitar too because we played music for years together. And he would sing, and I would be cool with it. We just play and play. But I'm sitting here telling Alan, I said, "Who's going to sing? I can't sing worth a crap." And I've got it on recordings to prove it. I can't sing. Singing backup, it was so horrible. They'd have to tune my voice. I'm just horrible. But that's the reason I shoot it down. Plus, carrying 2 guitars and with all the gear and everything when you're traveling 3 or 4 hours away, 5 hours away, it's just a little extra stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had people bring harmonicas. We've had people bring fiddles, banjos, and then just people sing a cappella. And there's one section of the jail. Now, music works good throughout. But there's one section, especially up on the 3rd floor in the women's cell. We found they really like Amazing Grace. And for some weird reason, they really love the Pentatonics version. I don't know if it's because it's a cappella or what. Of course, they like Dolly Parton, Johnny Cash. They love any kind of Southern rock. You really can't go wrong. We had this one guy come in, had an amazing voice and sang. He was telling me he was singing Bohemian Rhapsody or something. And the tools started going off. But what was interesting is we had a group of ladies in there. We had some dignitaries from the neighboring county that came in, and we were going to play Amazing Grace on our phones. And they break out into this 3-part harmony, just singing before we could start playing, the kind that brings tears to your eyes and chills to you. And everything started going off like, we had flashlights going off, K2s going off, millimeters were spiking. And it was just these 3 ladies singing. there was no power going on to the third floor because it's cells. We have to turn the power off, flip the breaker, so it kills all the power on the levels, so you don't have that extra contamination. And I think it's one of those things I need to put on the website, because that's been one of those things when people come, if they sing or play any kind of music, it tends to bring out a lot of interesting activity.
It is a great trigger object or trigger for anything, because
Yeah.
People really don't think about it unless you are like a musician or you have a talent like that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can do it, just like,
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. If anyone has any last minute questions, please feel free to put those here in the comments. We're getting here to the bottom of the hour here, and we'll be wrapping things up here in just a few. So be sure to get your last minute questions in if you have any for Bedford Paranormal here. In these last few minutes before we see if anyone has anything, do you guys want to go ahead and plug anything cool that you got coming up, and then also where people can find you guys?
Angie?
Go ahead. Go for it, Ronnie.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, we're going to start putting more of our stuff out. We've talked to you about it. You can find us. Best place right now is probably the Facebook page or either one of our individual pages. Okay. What we got coming up is the jail. And rescheduling. Well, hopefully I get rugby in there the next couple of days or so. But we had scheduled Ashmore and had to cancel. So I think we might get that back on there sometime, maybe. Right, Angie?
Did you say Brushy? I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
No, Ashmore.
Oh, yeah, we were gone there, and then it was right before my cancer diagnosis, so we kind of had to backtrack a little bit. And but we plan on going again in the future, definitely. We love Robin. He's a great guy, and we're looking forward to getting up there for sure.
Yeah, like I said before, which we have not, due to circumstances, we have not moved forward on the book that we're talking about doing.
Nice.
So, yeah, that's going to be kind of interesting. Each member is going to write. Well, we hadn't told Daryl yet, so if he's watching, Daryl, get ready. Each of us are going to do 2 chapters. That's how I planned it. But we're arguing over it. But we're going to take 2 locations. We're going to divide them out to our favorites or the ones that interest us the most. Mm-hmm. And each one of us is going to do 2 chapter on each 2 locations.
Nice.
And it's a little different, but
yeah. And I think we're posting a podcast too, aren't we, Ronnie? Who was going to head that up?
Yeah. Well, we were going to do that a long time ago, and then just everything got set on the back burner this year.
Yeah,
and,
I know.
I know you know. But yeah, you can tell now. That's why I wanted her to come on here, because everybody can see she's a champion. And
she is such a strong lady. Like I said, I think so highly of you all, and I'm so glad to see you out and about and be able to talk to you on here.
Thank you so much. And I just want to give a quick shout out to all the support that's came in, all the messages, the cards, the gifts, the phone calls, just everything. I really appreciate it a lot. Really gets you, it helps with, when you're in the hospital and you have these moments and you feel like you're alone, and you can go back and read those cards. And it's good to have that. And the support has just been absolutely amazing. So I appreciate everyone who's reached out.
You truly have an army behind you. I see people all the time, making posts, and I had Glider on my show just a few weeks ago, and he was talking about you and everything. So it's just, it's so great to see the love and support.
They're BFFs.
Yeah, Yeah, it's been absolutely amazing to see people come together, you know, when you're a friend, like, you know, when you're in one of your lowest moments in life. And it's really touched me. So I appreciate everyone.
Well,
Daryl,
and
you supposed to be in bed?
Don't believe everything Adam tells you either, Glider. He's
no,
trouble.
I learned that he is nothing but trouble.
Yeah.
And
never ever leave your phone.
And Nancy, I see your comment here. Update on the bank. We are in the process of getting the bank building open. There, we've had to do a little bit of work inside there, a little cleaning. We've picked up display cases. We're working on getting other displays that's going to go. We've got to move our point of sale, our gift shop. All of that. We were hoping to be in there here early April, but Christy was speaking at the Tennessee Association of Museums about After Dark Tourism. She did an amazing presentation there. And so we had that. My mom had hip surgery and her second hip replaced. And so I was helping her out with that earlier on. So we just had a whole lot of things going on. Plus, then all of a sudden we had a lot of bookings where we were doing tours and all that here with people on spring break and all that good stuff. So we haven't officially got moved over there yet. We've got to get moved over there on days that we're closed, because we'll have to move the gift shop, the point of sale, all that stuff over. And then I guess, in case nobody, if anybody followed my page, I had a little surprise of some baby kittens that were born yesterday. That was kind of unexpected. So a lot of really crazy things that's been going on lately. We have not officially got moved in there, but once we are, it's going to be a really cool thing, because we'll be offering guided tours of the jail now instead of self-guided. And also it's going to be really cool for the paranormal investigators, because we'll have new rooms open. They'll obviously be open when you guys are there. And we typically stay there in the gift shop, but since the gift shop will be moving, we're actually going to be off-site whenever the paranormal teams are investigating there. We will be just 2 buildings down in the bank building, but in case anyone needs us, but it's going to be a whole different experience for our investigators. So lots of really cool things going on with the bank building when we can eventually, hopefully, I'm saying in the next 2 weeks, I'm putting it out there in the universe. So hopefully that will be the case. But again, thank you guys so much for coming on tonight. I've just enjoyed getting to catch up, and can't wait to see you guys here in July. That can't get here soon enough. And all of you folks over here in the chat room, thank you for your questions, your comments, your kind words, your prayers, and your encouragement. That's always appreciated on my side, and I always love it to see whenever guests, are supported. Be on the lookout for these folks to put their content out, because you know how I feel about my content creators. Definitely go on, like and follow their page, because there's a lot of time and effort that goes in to putting great content out there. So go show Bedford Paranormal some love now, and be ready for whenever they put their new stuff out there. So anything I've missed? Like I said, you all have put out your events and stuff, and like I said, just looking forward to seeing y'all.
Well, yeah, thank you so much for all you do and your support for us, and especially helping with Clover Hill. I heard you had a big deal in it. We thank you for that.
Absolutely. I can't wait to get the episodes re-released, because that was an active night, and we're definitely gonna, with all these locations, since they were all places people haven't investigated, very many people haven't been there. We're going to have links of where people can go to follow pages, and also to book investigations on all these. So
awesome.
So
well,
yeah,
thank you.
absolutely.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. All right, guys. So there will be no show next week. Christy and I, we're going to the Bijou Theater in Knoxville next Thursday night to listen to a lecture on serial killers. Going to be a fun time in a cool haunted location, talking about some true crime. And then the very next week, there is no show scheduled right now because we're involved with some filming that's going to be taking place. But if everything is done early enough on Thursday night, we may be able to break free and do a show. But we're still waiting on that. But until then, it looks like the next show is going to be, I believe that date is the 25th. And I'm going to be having Mr. Bob Burnell on the show. Really looking forward to that. He was just here in the comments section, and he does real deal paranormal evidence. And we're going to be talking about paranormal investigating and his team, and just going to be a great show. So, but we'll let you know if anything pops up before the 25th that we're doing. So until then, I hope everyone has a wonderful night and a great week. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.